WWE has a long and storied history of heroic figures for whom fans cheer wildly. Nothing gets a crowd of 20,000 people on their feet and screaming like a babyface finally giving a heel his or her comeuppance. But who are the greatest faces of WWE good guys to ever set foot inside the squared circle? Who are the wrestlers that deserved the loudest cheers and the adulation from the fans? Without further delay, let's get to it. Number 10, Daniel Bryan.
I select Daniel Bryan.
The bearded superstar finally captured the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 30.
The impossible dream has become reality!
You could mark the start of Bryan's journey to the top at several points. His arrival at WWE, his first United States Championship, WrestleMania 28, and SummerSlam 2013 are all legitimate starting points.
See the size of Daniel Bryan?
Fans rallied around Bryan in a way that few wrestlers had earned in the previous 15 years. Yes chants were everywhere during Bryan's rise to the top. Number 9, Sting. Whether we're talking Surfer Sting or Crow Sting, Steve Borden has brought entertainment to wrestling fans for decades. But his career reached another level when he transformed into a character inspired by the movie The Crow in early 1996. After Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Hulk Hogan formed the New World Order, Sting really dug into his new gimmick. He silently stalked the NWO from the rafters as he wielded a baseball bat. He would descend into the ring and attack NWO members, which were growing in number seemingly every week. Sting was the ultimate good guy, a silent hero. At a time when almost everyone was part of the New World Order, Sting stood up for his company and let his actions do the talking. Number 8, Junkyard Dog. Junkyard Dog became the top face in Bill Watts' Mid-South wrestling promotion in the early 1980s, and JYD was so charismatic and so skilled at his craft that he owned this unfortunate presentation and turned it into his most memorable asset. JYD remained popular with the crowd when he headed north to the then WWF in the mid-1980s. Unfortunately, he never won any major singles titles during the promotion. He passed away on June 2nd, 1998 at age 45 in a car accident near Forest, Mississippi on his way home from his daughter's high school graduation in North Carolina. But JYD remains a hero in and out of the ring for the way he dealt with and overcame the racism that affected him. Number 7, Dusty Rhodes. If Ric Flair is one of the greatest villains of all time, then Dusty Rhodes is absolutely worthy of a spot on this list. The National Wrestling Alliance's World Heavyweight title was the subject of a legendary feud between Rhodes and Flair. Flair, of course, used every dirty trick in the book to keep the title, and Dusty would constantly chase the Nature Boy for the belt. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat never turned heel, and the man wrestled for the better part of 2 decades. He was as straight-laced can get. His legendary feud with Ric Flair played up the fact that Flair was a kiss-stealin' ladies' man, while Steamboat was the happily married man who stayed on the straight and narrow. The two put on some of the greatest matches in the history of the sport in 1989 that have maintained their luster to this day. Steamboat also had some all-time classics with Macho Man Randy Savage, including their best match at WrestleMania 3 for the Intercontinental Championship, which the Dragon won. Number 5, Bruno Sammartino. The Italian immigrant was the ultimate good guy throughout the 1960s, 1970s, and 1980s. He defeated the original Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers, on May 17, 1963 to capture the then WWF Championship. He held the belt for 2,803 days, a record that still stands. His combined reign of 4,040 days is almost 200 more days than Hulk Hogan's 2,185. But Sammartino was more than just numbers. He was so popular in 1965 that the NWA and WWF held talks to merge the two promotions' world championships in a match that Sammartino would win over another legend. Triple H reached out to him once the product went PG and asked him to watch for a few months in the hopes he would return.
I said I'd be happy to come into the Hall of Fame.
Sure enough, WWE inducted him into the Hall of Fame in 2013. Number 4. The Rock.
If you smile, oh my God!
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did some great work as a heel, but he spent most of his career as a face, ultimately becoming one of the most popular wrestlers in the history of the business. The Rock oozed charisma. He and Stone Cold Steve Austin rose to prominence together and led the Attitude Era side by side. When Austin was injured for much of 2000, The Rock soared to new heights and became the undisputed top dog in the WWF. Number 3. John Cena. It's impossible to deny that Cena has been the undisputed top face in the WWE for a decade. Cena has been a face since 2003 and has never turned back to the dark side since then, partly because he is a superhero who came to life for his legions of young fans. Cena is far and away the biggest merchandise mover for the WWE, so it's easy to understand why the company does not want to mess with the formula. The 15-time world champion has done practically everything in WWE and conquered seemingly every heel who has come his way. Aside from his unwavering heroism in the ring, the man is said to be a wonderful human being outside of it. With a body of work like that, it's hard to deny him a spot near the top of this list. Number 2. Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Texas Rattlesnake was the most popular wrestler on Earth in the late 1990s and early 2000s. The Rock was undoubtedly the 1A to Austin's 1, but the crowd always got just a little bit louder for Stone Cold. Whether he was beating the tar out of Vince McMahon or just competing in a regular match, the audience in attendance and at home went bananas every time Austin 316 emerged through the curtain. The Stone Cold Stunner brought the crowd to its feet. Austin's skills on the microphone were just as important as his take-no-prisoners attitude and foul language, which resonated with the blue-collar fans.
Tell me he will be fired! I'll tell you what! How do you...
Stone Cold still remains one of the most popular wrestlers in history.
There's only one Texas Rattlesnake!
Number 1. Hulk Hogan. Say what you want about Hogan constantly politicking backstage to keep himself at the top of the mountain. And say what you want about the corny brothers, jacks, and dudes he spouted off during his heyday. Hulk Hogan was, and still is, the most popular wrestler to ever lace up his boots. People who have never seen a single second of a wrestling match know who Hulk Hogan is. He almost single-handedly popularized the sport in the mainstream in the 1980s with the rock and wrestling connection.
It is about respect for what this man has done for this industry.
Hogan, like the aforementioned Cena, was basically a walking superhero. He accomplished incredible feats of strength, like body slamming Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. Did your favorite face make the list? Do you agree or disagree with our entries? Be sure to watch the worst botches and mistakes in WrestleManias, and we'll see you in the next video.